From there, I started my journey of learning this language, and I did practice a lot. And here I am, though I'm not perfect, but irrespective of doing a lot of practice, I can say like I can manage and I can talk in English with anyone around the world in a very comfortable and natural way.
Great, great. But the story behind it, it was terrible that the people are not aware of this language because it is a skill. Okay, and if the people they are thinking that the foreigners are coming in India and they are not able to speak in Hindi, and that time there will be a sympathy. Okay, they are like at least they are trying to speak in Hindi. So like this, English is not our native language, and we are fluent in English. So at least we are learning. So okay, forget it.
Varsha, ma'am, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good evening, Shiv. I'm doing well, and thank you for asking. What about you?
Yes, I'm pretty well, doing fantastic in my life, and just talking to you, I'm feeling I'm over the moon. Thanks for being here, and everything is fit and fine from my side.
Okay, so as we are meeting first time, Shiv, so would you introduce yourself?
Sure, why not? I would be more than happy to introduce myself. Well, my name is Shiv, and I'm born and brought up in India. My state name is Uttarakhand. I hope you heard about it. Moreover, I'm a central government employee, and I'm done with my master in English. I'm done with my master in commerce, and this year I'm pursuing my master in economics. In addition to this, I do teach English to beginners and intermediate speakers through online applications, and I do have my own YouTube channel with name English with Teacher Shiv. So this is all from my side. If you want to know something else, so feel free to ask.
Yeah. So Shiv, tell me about did you learn English from by yourself or from anywhere? How did you start your English journey? And when did you think that you should learn English?
Okay, that's a very nice question. I must appreciate it. Thank you for asking this beautiful question. Well, my journey has just started 3 years back. And that time I was totally naive in terms of spoken English. I started my journey from scratches because, as I said, I'm from Uttarakhand and I belongs to a very rural area. And I did my schooling from Hindi middle school. And in my initial days, I wasn't able to speak English as I'm speaking right now. I wasn't able to introduce myself in English. But I have been humiliated by many people just because of my terrible and horrifying spoken English. In fact, one of them has said that you seems to be like you are rapist of this language. So that kind of terrible and awful compliment I got in my past few days. But from there, I started my journey of learning this language, and I did practice a lot. And here I am, though I'm not perfect, but irrespective of doing a lot of practice, I can say like I can manage and I can talk in English with anyone around the world in a very comfortable and natural way.
Great, great. But the story behind it, it was terrible that the people are not aware of this language because it is a skill. Okay, and if the people they are thinking that the foreigners are coming in India and they are not able to speak in Hindi, and that time there will be a sympathy. Okay, they are like at least they are trying to speak in Hindi. So like this, English is not our native language, and we are fluent in English. So at least we are learning. So okay, forget it. Okay. So my next question is that how did you start? What was the first step that you have taken towards your English?
Of course, the first step was that incident which happened with me, that criticism. I took criticism in a positive way. There, I made a promise to myself that anyhow, at any cost, I'm going to master this language. From there, I started learning it. In my initial days, I used to listen people a lot. Those who are really good speaker, those who were authentic speaker, for example, English teachers, native speakers, podcasts, web series, and I used to listen TED Talks a lot. So when I started listening to them, I started observing at the same time. And over a period of time, I started following shadowing technique. That is something which we can consider like you have to imitate exactly the way they people were speaking. And gradually, I started speaking English. I started using different online application. There, I'm teaching as well these days. But in my initial days, I was totally beginner. I was tyro in terms of spoken English, and then I started learning this language by this way.
Okay, that's great that you have listened more about the native speakers and podcast, and shadowing technique is the best technique that you can use while you are learning English. Okay, so my another question is that now you told me about your English classes. So will you tell me a little bit more about your classes?
Well, to be very frank with you, I'm not a professional teacher like others, as I haven't done any course like that. But I've been speaking English for the last 3.5 years, and I've been talking many native speakers around the world. So based on that experience, I started teaching. And the reason behind teaching is when I was in my initial days, I was doing practice and I came across to one of native speaker teachers from the United States. And I asked her, man, however, I can speak English, but in a very intermediate way. I want to level up my English, and how can I do it? Then she said, if you want to step up your game, all you have to do is just try to start teaching others. And I was totally awestruck and baffled at that point of time that being a naive in terms of spoken English, how could I teach others? Because teaching itself is a very noble profession and it requires high level of knowledge with experience and certification. Then she told me that you don't need to teach someone in a professional way. Just try to teach English in an unofficial way. And that's how my journey has started. So it's been more than 2.5 years. I have been teaching many of aspirants who are really inquisitive and keen in order to master this language and having different purpose in order to hold and command over this language.
That's great because I don't think so that for teaching the people we have need for the certification. Definitely, we have need for the certification while we are teaching professionally. Okay, but there
Agreed.
are so they just want to learn English and with low cost, and they can start like this, and you are doing a great work there. Okay, so like if I'll ask you that what advice would you give to someone who is just starting to learn English?
So I'll take this question this way that what I have been practicing in order to master this language, I'm going to tell all those tips and tricks which I have been following since I has started my learning this language, right? Uh, I have 10 golden rules in my pocket which I can serve to beginners and especially who are new to this application and language as well. The very first and foremost thing that we have to remember in our mind is we should find one powerful reason for ourselves in order to master this language. Because until unless we don't know the answer of why I'm learning this language, I can't even learn it properly, right? Because that one single strong reason will let you know to focus on your learning more and not even wasting your time in any useless stuff. You're not going to distract it with any mean of distraction. That's the first thing. Now, rule number two is we shouldn't expect the same level of perfectionism as native speakers have in this language because we are not native speakers. We are, of course, native, but we are native speaker of our national language, that is Hindi. So somehow, to some extent, while learning, if we are making any mistake at some point and we are fumbling, stammering, stucking, we shouldn't feel ashamed about it. Right? Rule number three is I would say more like words have some magical power. If you will enhance your vocabulary, you can play with this language, honestly, because the more you have words in your head, the better you can express your thoughts, your ideas, and you can convey your message so easily, effortlessly, in a natural way. And now, fourth thing is, I have been noticing many learners and co-learners as well. They have been keeping themselves in a dilemma, and they have been hallucinated by someone that if you don't know grammar, you can't master this language, and that is totally wrong. Without grammar, you can speak English, of course. I shouldn't forget this point that grammar is the soul of English, but still, when you are in your initial stage, Rather than focusing on your grammar, just try to focus on your flow and confidence. The moment you are going to reach on that level where you are being confident in order to speak English with anyone around the world without hesitation and shyness, then after you can work on your grammar, which means accuracy. Rule number five is practice, practice, and of course, practice. But not only practice, in fact, focus practice. And now, what is the difference? I wake up early in the morning. I started using this app or any other app in order to improve my spoken English randomly. Doesn't make any sense. But when I wake up early in the morning, and I knew that I'm not good in my grammar, and I started finding those stuff, those applications, those people with whom I can improve my grammar, and I started doing practice with them. This is what we can call focus practice. So focus practice will let you know that you are getting some good ramification and impact on your spoken English. So do practice on a continuous basis. Now, rule number six is love your mistakes. What does it mean? It simply means we often make mistake while speaking English. Of course, we are human beings and we are not native speaker of English. This language is new for us and we are new for this language. So we should accept both of us. Now, if you are making mistakes, I would suggest try to embrace your mistakes. We are not God. We are human beings, and for human beings, mistakes are allowed. Accept your mistake, embrace your mistake, identify, recognize, and start working on it. And sooner or later, you are going to speak English like a flawless speaker. Now, rule number eight is English speaking environment. I hope you remember how baby learn his own mother tongue, how we have learned our mother tongue. We used to listen our parents, how they are speaking, then we started imitating to them. And this is how we have learned our mother tongue. Similarly, goes with this language. The more you'll surround yourself with this language, the better you can learn it. If you're in your home, you're going to kitchen in order to cook food, just think in your mind, I'm going to kitchen in order to cook food, and then go and cook the food. If there is any painting in wall in your home, just try to look at that painting and start describing it in your own words. If you are doing anything in your home, before performing that action, you have to think in English. You'll develop your thinking English power. At the same time, you will get ambience where you can practice with this language, right? Now, next is just try to follow the rule of LRWS, which is listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Try to listen podcast, web series, good speakers, English teacher, and observe them and learn from them. Read at least one page in one day. Write, of course, whatever you love to write. You can write your journal since whatever you have done since morning to night. And last but not least, I would say be confident because it's a language. It's not a rocket science. And do practice on a daily basis.
Yeah, you gave fantastic tips that people, if the people will follow, definitely they will learn how to start speaking. Okay, so my last question is that about vocabulary. As you told me, if you have vocabulary, so you will be okay with this language. Definitely, if we have vocabulary, so we will be okay with this language. So how do you learn vocabulary? How do you use new vocabulary in your communication skill? Firstly learn and then use in your communication skill.
Of course, learning vocabulary is something which is not everyone's cup of tea. Everyone is struggling with vocabularies because I've seen many times people who are really good at English, sometimes they as well goes blank when it comes to using terminology at the same time, same place and in an appropriate manner. So if you want to enhance or edify your vocab power, all you have to do is you have to follow some 5 steps. Number one, whenever you are talking to someone, just try to listen him very carefully what exactly he is speaking. Is he using any new lexicon which could be used by you for your conversation? If yes, so just try to jot it down. All right. Now, second thing is try to take the help of modern technology, which means take the help of Google, internet, and YouTube. From there, you can learn some new vocabs. Make sure whenever you are trying to acquire vocabs from there, you have to acquire only those vocabs which you can use in your day to day spoken English according to the purpose you have behind learning this language. Now, rule number three is start reading. One who is a good reader today can become a good speaker tomorrow for sure. So, the more you are going to read, the more you are going to come across to many new words and that you can use in your conversation, right? Now, rule number fourth is start writing. For example, you have learned so many vocabularies. Are those vocabularies in your passive mind, not in your active mind? And this is how I have seen many times people learn millions of vocabs, uncountable vocabularies. They have infinity of vocabs in their mind. But when it comes to speaking, they are not getting the exact word when they are speaking. Why? Just because they haven't practiced in the way. So start writing, because when you start write, and if you want to write important, don't use important. It's a very common one and everyone knows it. Try to use imperative, indispensable, vital, crucial, paramount, mandatory, compulsory, significant, key, prime. There are so many others, right? So the more you will try to replace, substitute, and alter your vocabs, the better you'd able to remember it for perpetual, for long lasting, right? Now, last but not least, install any dictionary in your mobile. And whenever you are going to talk with yourself, you are going to narrate a story, you are going to have a mirror practice, you are going to talk about any hypothetical situation, it means, or you are describing any picture, whatever you are doing. And if you face any problem, in order to get the English word for your own Hindi language or any Hindi word, you need to take the help of that dictionary, find the word, and remember that in your mind. Make at least two or three sentences out of it so that you would be able to remember that word for everlasting. So these are some steps, and last but not least, I would say there are some recordings. I would say audiobooks of vocabulary. You can download it from Google. You can listen those audiobooks just like you listen songs. And I hope sometime when you listen songs again and again, you can easily remember the lyrics. Same goes with vocabulary. So make notes in your diary, okay? And whenever you are free, maybe on Sunday, so just take your mobile in your hand, start recording, and start writing all the vocabs. For example, eager, inquisitive, keen, hungry, enthusiastic, right? Then beautiful, the synonyms are altitudinous, stunning, aesthetic, revision this way, and record your voice. And whenever you're feeling or that you are free, for example, you are working in the kitchen or you are doing any home chore, listen that recording. This is how you are going to train your brain, your mind in order to remember those vocabs for long lasting. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, super idea you have given me about learning vocabulary. Like you can record those vocabulary words, and whenever you are doing some work, so you can listen to it properly. And in this way, your subconscious mind will be accustomed for speaking about those words. Because most of the time, as you told, that we have words in our mind, but we are unable to speak those words because we don't know where we have to use these words or how we can use those words in our communication skills, because without practice nobody can speak. And practice as much as you can. And thank you for giving me your valuable time, Shiv, and nice to talk to you. And this all the session were very informative session, I can say that.
Yeah, likewise, it was really nice talking to you. I would say the experience which I got from this conversation, it's really commendable and phenomenal. And moreover, I would say that wish you all the best for your upcoming journey, whatever you have planned for your English journey, because I hope you are also a YouTuber and you're trying to find the best resources and effective methodology that you can use in order to explore your YouTube channel. So keep talking, keep learning, keep improving, keep sharing, keep shining. Wish you all the best. Thanks.
Same to you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. Take care.